everyone, welcome back to Magic Rising. I wanted to talk about a really unique and interesting subject, and it's a pretty expansive topic, but I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about my thoughts on it. And that is the topic of friends, family, enemies, basically personal interactions that we have with the people that are in our environment. So why is this something that I think is important when we're talking about things like magic? It explains there are certain actions and certain approaches that we take in our lives that are considered to be magical workings and magical acts, and we are using those things to achieve our true will. Now, when we think about the subject of friends or family or people that are in our lives, then we start to think, are those interactions, are those relationships something that are helping bring us closer to that true will or take us away from that? And thinking about it in that context and giving us that stage to start evaluating the different types of relationships we have with different types of people out there, I mean, that's huge insight into, are these relationships healthy or negative? Is it something where it is going to bring us closer to our true will, or is it going to be something that takes us further away? Personally, I have friends that are in so many different types of social groups. They're in so many different types of stages in their own personal development, and they all bring something different to me when we interact. I think when we think about true will, we think about things that we want for ourselves in an overall grand sense, right? So when you hear things like, that friend is a bad influence on you, that should say something. Now, I want to get into this subject in this video specifically because whether someone is a bad influence on you or a good influence on you, it can relate to your friends, it can relate to your family, it can relate to any other person in your life. Now, some people misinterpret what a bad influence is. When you think about the interactions and the relationships you have with different people, is it something where you consider it to be a bad influence or a good influence? It's really easy as a concept to answer, but it's hard to identify. So we think about bad influences, things that are taking you further away from your true will or further away from where you want to be in life. These people, you may hang out with them and suddenly you're doing things that you regret the next day. You're taking actions with these people that are not allowing you to achieve certain goals. Thinking about it like that, if you're trying to think, how can I eliminate negative magic and bad influences in my life when it comes to people, you could just instantly think, oh, just don't hang out with that person anymore. But that's not feasible for a lot of people. It's not a logical step when we think about how intricate relationships can be with other people. I have several friends of mine that I love to hang out with, and we party, and they party hard and I party hard when I'm with them. And so as far as just cutting that part of my life out and moving those people away from me and my life, that's not something I want to do, because there are so many other benefits and so many other interactions that I have with those people that aren't bad influences. They're not things that are taking me away from what I want. Then we get into the idea of personal ownership. A big part of magic is understanding and being aware of yourself and your values and your actions, and not blaming others for what you're doing. So is it their fault that I'm staying out till all hours drinking or partying or whatever? No, it's mine. And so what you do when you think about eliminating bad influence out of your life, it doesn't mean eliminating the people out of your life. What it means is changing the way that you interact when you're around these people to make sure that you're not going further and further away from your end goal, and you're keeping the interactions positive in relation to what you're trying to achieve in the world. So when I'm out with those people and I know I have to work the next day, I might try to change the way I approach things, such as not having another drink, or maybe realizing that these friends are still gonna be my friends if I go home early that day. Now, if I don't have to work the next day and there's nothing negative that's going to come from me hanging out and staying up till 7 a.m. the next morning, then maybe that's not a bad thing. And so there's a lot of intricate details that come into play when we're thinking about, what is a bad influence when it comes to who you're hanging out with. Now, there is such a thing as a completely bad influence, and I have had people in my life that I've cut out completely because every interaction that I've had with that person is something that leads me further away from my true will. And that's okay, that's healthy, because in the end, we shouldn't be as concerned with what the other person wants as what we want for ourselves. That sounds selfish, but it's not. And here's why. When we think about that idea of true will, we are thinking about everything that we have in our power to help get to that goal. It's not my true will to miss work the next day for staying out too late the night before. And so when I think about my friends that I surround myself with, I need to think about how to keep those interactions positive, keep those interactions in such a way that I am working towards and achieving the things I want to achieve in life. So that's basically that. Now let's flip over to good influences. And this is a great thing, because recognizing when there are positive and good interactions with other people in your life, that's incredibly important. That means that you see something and the way that you are with these other people is helping you get towards your true will. It's helping you reach certain goals that are gonna help you in the long run in a universal sense. I have friends that are very responsible with work and very responsible with academics, very responsible with money. And all of these people have these things that they do. And when I hang out with them, I might do the similar thing, such as, calling it an early night. I might not want to call it an early night because of my own vices, but hanging out with these friends, they kind of give that sense of responsibility to me in a way. And so these friends are positive influences. So all of these different friends and the influences they have on you, whether it's you both deciding together to do something unhealthy or, in other words, related to a negative influence, or something healthy and positive. You know how that's going to make you feel, and you know whether it's going to be something you regret, which is a great indication of a bad influence, or something that you thrive on, which is a great indicator of a good influence. And so I want to stress that just because someone is a bad influence in some way on you, it doesn't mean that you have to cut that person out of your life entirely. It means that you have to work within yourself to find out how to not be influenced in that bad way by that person. Also, we could think about things like trying to draw in the positive influences. When people say things like, I don't have any good friends, or all of my friends are garbage people, and things like that. And I know we've all been in this position before where we think, I don't have any real friends. Well, obviously there are things that your current people you're surrounding yourself with are doing that are negative, and that you are wanting to replace that negativity with positivity and positive interactions with different people. Think about magic, right? And so we think about the things and the tricks and all the things we play within our minds that can help draw that in. So in conclusion, when we think about the idea of a friend or a family member or someone we surround ourselves with or interact with being a good influence or a bad influence, what we're really looking at is how we act in those situations, and the things that we can do personally, the magic we can do personally to help keep ourselves on the path of positivity and in the path of reaching our true will and our true goals and our true intentions with the world and with ourselves. So next time you hang out with somebody, try thinking about the ways that you interact and how that pushes you further away from your true intentions or brings you towards your true intentions. And I think you'll definitely have a better idea about how the people you surround yourself with can impact your overall life and happiness and success and everything else. Okay, I think that's it. So yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks so much for watching.